Have you ever stopped to think about the power that words hold over your life? It may seem simple, but words don't just help us communicate. They shape how we see the world, how we see others, and even how we see ourselves. But here's the question. Are the words you use actually the reality? Are your thoughts and feelings truly separate from who you are? Today, I want to invite you to reflect on something essential. The words and symbols we use to describe the world are not the world itself. They are just representations. Just like a map is not the territory, words are not the real thing, yet we live as if they are. And this creates an invisible prison that traps us in repetitive patterns of thought and behavior. In this video, we'll explore how this illusion works, how it impacts your life, and, most importantly, how you can break free from it. Words are incredible tools. They allow us to share ideas, express emotions, and build connections. But there's a hidden danger. Words give us the impression that everything we describe is separate from us, as if we're outside the experience. Think about it. When you feel anger, sadness, or anxiety, your mind immediately tries to name and label what's happening. I'm angry. I'm anxious. But have you noticed what happens in that moment? By naming it, you automatically create a separation. It's as if there's a you on one side and the emotion on the other, something you need to control, fight, or explain. But this separation is an illusion. The anger, the anxiety, or whatever emotion you're feeling isn't outside of you. It's part of you in that moment. Yet, words create the false impression that these things are external, as if naming them somehow resolves or distances you from them. Now, let's make this more practical. Imagine you're having a rough day. You feel frustrated and tell yourself, I'm a failure. In that moment, the word failure becomes the map of your entire experience. But is that true? Can that one word really capture the complexity of what you're going through? Of course not, because the word is never the real thing. Let's take a closer look at how this plays out in your day-to-day life. Think about how we use words to describe not just our feelings, but situations and even other people. For example, someone might say, she's selfish or he's arrogant. But do those words actually reflect who that person really is? Or are they just labels based on your momentary perception? When we label someone, we stop seeing them for who they truly are. Instead, we see the map we've created in our minds about them. And this doesn't just happen to others. It happens to you too. Take words like success, happiness, or love. What does success mean to you? Maybe you've been taught that success means having money, status, or recognition. But is that really true for you? Or are you just repeating an idea that's been imposed on you by the words and symbols you've absorbed throughout your life? And what about love? We live in a world where this word is used so casually that it's lost its real meaning. Love has become something we buy, negotiate, or demand. But is that truly love? Or are we just interacting with the idea of love rather than experiencing it directly? Here's the key point. We confuse the map with the territory. The map is useful, but it will never be the real thing. Just like the word tree is not the tree. The word anger is not the anger, and the word I is not you. When we live based on symbols and words, we lose connection with direct experience. We get stuck in labels, judgments, and interpretations, and this creates a barrier between us and reality. This illusion of separation doesn't just distort how we see the world, it also creates conflict. When you feel something uncomfortable, like sadness or frustration, what happens? The mind immediately tries to fight against it. It says, I shouldn't feel this way, or I need to get rid of this. But who is this I that's fighting the emotion? Is the sadness really separate from you, or is it simply part of what you're experiencing at that moment? This internal struggle happens because the mind has created the idea that there's a me here and an emotion over there. But if you stop and observe, you'll realize that division doesn't actually exist. The emotion is just part of the experience of the present moment. When you understand this, something changes. The struggle disappears because there's nothing left to fight. You realize you don't need to control or label what you're feeling. You just need to observe it without judgment. If we want to break free from this prison created by words and symbols, the first step is awareness. Start by observing how words shape your perceptions. When you feel something, ask yourself, is this emotion really separate from me, or is it part of who I am right now? When you label someone or something, question it. Am I seeing the reality, or am I just interpreting it through a label? This simple practice can lead to profound transformation, because when you observe without judgment, you begin to see reality beyond words. And in that state, something extraordinary happens. Clarity arises. More than that, you discover that qualities like compassion, love, or peace cannot be achieved through thought or effort. These qualities emerge naturally when the mind is free, when you stop confusing the symbol with the real thing. So what does this mean for you? It means that true freedom isn't about controlling your emotions, thoughts, or experiences. It's about realizing that they aren't separate from you. Words are useful, but they will never be the real thing. When you understand this, you begin to live more fully, without the weight of labels and judgments. You start to see the world, others, and yourself as they truly are. Not as symbols or ideas, but as living, dynamic experiences. So, let me ask you, are you ready to question the power that words hold over your life? Are you willing to observe yourself without labels or judgments? This journey begins with something simple: observation. Observing without separation, without resistance, without labeling. When we do this, we open the door to profound transformation, a life lived with truth, freedom, and connection. If this reflection resonated with you, like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Matrix Code for more insights on self-discovery and transformation. Let's explore the unknown together.